Because everything you thought you knew about Harry Potter just exploded like a misfired wand. What if the real hero of the wizarding world wasn't the lightning-scarred poster boy, but Neville Longbottom? Yes, that Neville. The one who couldn't remember the password to Gryffindor Tower and basically lived in detention land. Now picture him, baby Neville, deflecting the killing curse, surviving Voldemort, and becoming the boy who lived. Still got the toad, still got the chubby cheeks. But now, he's got destiny.
How? Why? And what does that do to Harry, Hogwarts, and everything in between?
Grab your butterbeer and hold on to your broomsticks, because we're diving broomstick first into the most unexpected, emotionally charged, and delightfully absurd twist in the wizarding universe. What if Neville Longbottom, not Harry Potter, was the chosen one? This is the magical what if that will break your heart and make you laugh through your tears, probably while wearing a slightly singed robe. The alternate prophecy interpretation. In the original prophecy made by Sybil Trelawney, between sips of sherry and dramatic eye rolls, two boys fit the criteria, born at the end of July, to parents who defied Voldemort 3 times. One was Harry Potter, the other, Neville Longbottom.
In canon, Voldemort chose Harry as the threat, thereby marking him as the chosen one. But what if Voldemort, in a rare moment of poor judgment, shocking I know, picked Neville instead?
In this reality, Voldemort attacks the Longbottoms, not the Potters. He tries to kill baby Neville, but thanks to Alice and Frank Longbottom's fierce defense, and perhaps some overpowered maternal mojo, he fails. The killing curse rebounds. Neville becomes the boy who lived. But unlike Harry, Neville's parents don't die. Instead, they're tortured into insanity later by Bellatrix Lestrange, because apparently magical justice has the efficiency of a broken time-turner. So Neville's quest isn't about closure, it's about revenge, loyalty, and being the awkward kid with a wand and a purpose. And that sets the stage for a very different kind of hero's journey, one that doesn't begin with triumph, but with trembling steps into an unfamiliar spotlight. Neville's rise at Hogwarts. At Hogwarts, Neville arrives not as a clumsy underdog, but as the magical equivalent of a celebrity toddler, complete with awe, stares, and zero privacy. He's still awkward, still unsure, but now he's awkward with a legacy. Teachers treat him with reverence. Students whisper when he walks by. He's basically wizarding Britain's royal baby with a wand. The Sorting Hat, probably groaning with dramatic flair, places him in Gryffindor, not because he's brave yet, but because he'll have to become brave under extreme magical duress. He doesn't join Harry and Ron. In this remix, it's Neville, Luna Lovegood, and Ginny Weasley, aka the dream team of misfits, weirdos, and fiery redheads. They bond over feeling out of place and dodging catastrophic spell work. Meanwhile, Harry, he's just a kid. No fame, no pressure, just blissfully mundane education. He finally gets to eat his treacle tart in peace. Neville, on the other hand, fumbles his way through spells like he's auditioning for a slapstick comedy, but every stumble makes him stronger. Unlike Harry, he's got no instant charisma, no chosen one swagger. He builds his reputation one awkward duel at a time. By year 5, Neville leads Dumbledore's army, not because he's flashy, but because he's furious and determined. In the battle at the Ministry, it's not Harry crying over Sirius, it's Neville, glaring at Bellatrix like he's ready to hex her wig off. The stakes? Now they're more than magical, they're deeply personal, and that emotional fire carries straight into the next chapter of his quest, one filled with ancient relics, impossible missions, and the quiet terror of being almost ready, but not quite. And if you think that was wild, wait until you see Neville take on Voldemort's Horcruxes with a botanist's logic, a conspiracy theorist's intuition, and absolutely zero idea how dangerous this is about to get. The final Horcruxes and Hallows. Now let's talk strategy, because nothing says hero's journey like hunting bits of a noseless psycho's soul. Dumbledore doesn't mentor Harry this time. He goes full Gandalf on Neville. And surprise, Neville might actually be better for the job. He doesn't crave glory. He doesn't rush headfirst into danger. He listens, he studies, and he somehow doesn't get expelled every other year. Growth. With Dumbledore's guidance, Neville tracks down Horcruxes with Luna and Ginny, the most unlikely chaos-prone adventuring party since Lockhart tried to fix someone's bones. Luna's dreamy logic cracks clues no one else can. Ginny brings the fire. Neville brings the moral support and snacks. And here's the kicker. No Elder Wand for Neville. No invisibility cloak for Harry. The Deathly Hallows? They're like side quests they accidentally skip. This version of the story isn't about beating death. It's about surviving it with your soul intact. Nagini? Toasted early by Luna with all the elegance of a magical grenade. The last Horcrux? Surprise. Neville's been the walking souvenir of Voldemort all along. That's right. The kid who can't remember passwords is literally housing evil incarnate. So he does the only thing he can, sacrifices himself. Temporarily. Thanks to Phoenix Tears and a lot of feels, he comes back, reborn as a slightly singed, prophecy-defying badass. And that return sets him on a collision course with destiny itself, a final battle not foretold, but earned, one spell at a time. The final showdown at Hogwarts. The Great Hall is in ruins. Furniture is flying. The walls are basically one more hex away from collapsing. Enter Voldemort, strutting in like the world's worst open mic performer. Enter Neville, covered in ash, eyes blazing, with the energy of someone who's done pretending to be invisible. Harry's here too, swinging spells like a backup dancer in a duel he didn't rehearse for. But this story? It's Neville's. Voldemort sneers, "Your parents were weak."
Neville, sword in hand, replies, "Yeah? And you're about to lose to a bloke who used to talk to plants."
Boom. Mic drop. He pulls the Sword of Gryffindor from the sorting hat, because of course the hat shows up at the exact dramatic moment. It lives for this, and disarms Voldemort.
Not with flashy wand work, with earned courage.
One clean strike, one final moment. Voldemort crumbles like a bad potion gone wrong. Silence, then chaos, then cheers. Neville doesn't run from the fame. He uses it to fight for students without voices, to rebuild Hogwarts, to sit beside his parents in St. Mungo's and remind them daily who he became.
And it ripples far beyond the castle walls, into every corner of a world now trying to make sense of its new kind of champion.
Ripple effects in the wizarding world.
So what changes when your underdog becomes the top dog?
First, Neville becomes the wizarding world's poster boy for emotional resilience. He's basically the mental health advocate Hogwarts never asked for but desperately needed. St. Mungo's gets proper funding, therapy stops being a whispered curse word, and people start realizing that being a bit off doesn't mean you can't also save the world. Second, Luna and Ginny? Not side characters anymore. Luna becomes a magical Jane Goodall with a wand and a conspiracy board. Ginny? She's an horror legend with a glare that could stop time.
Third, Harry finally catches a break. No chosen one wait. No lightning scar migraines. He becomes the Hogwarts Muggle Studies professor, which honestly suits him. He's always been great at explaining stuff to people who have no idea what's going on, like Ron. Constantly.
Ron himself becomes a co-CEO of Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, revolutionizing magical mischief one joke product at a time. Hermione? She flips the ministry upside down, creates elf rights legislation, and probably owns 4 enchanted planners. Even Draco Malfoy gets a redemption arc that isn't completely insufferable. Maybe, if we're being generous. And Hogwarts? It names a statue after Neville. Not some marble bust, no. A full-size animatronic Neville that lectures on bravery and sometimes forgets its lines. And with that kind of transformation, you can't help but feel the ground shifting beneath your feet. Because in a world where Neville rose, who else might have stepped into a different fate?
The story continues.
The castle is quiet now, but the echoes of that final duel between Neville and Voldemort live on in every hallway.
In portraits, professors whisper of the boy who grew into his legend. In the common rooms, students retell the story, not of a prophecy fulfilled, but of a choice made. And deep in the room of requirement, a new trio carves their names into the stone: Luna, Ginny, and Neville. Heroes by accident, bonded by courage. But beyond the walls of Hogwarts, magic stirs again. New secrets, old legends, and untold what-ifs still wait in the shadows.
Because in this world, nothing is ever truly over. And frankly, with a talking hat, a sarcastic sword, and a nervous herbology prodigy leading the charge, would you really want it to be?